Hello, fellow current and future soccer fans. Welcome back to One-on-One Sports. I'm joined by our MLS experts, Connor and Mason, to talk about playoffs and the Seattle Sounders. After winning the Supporters' Shield, which is awarded to the team with the highest amount of points at the end of the season, U.S. men's national team and Seattle Sounders star DeAndre Yedlin claimed that winning the Shield is more important than the MLS Cup trophy. Guys, which piece of silverware do you think is more important?
I wish the Supporters' Shield meant more, but under the state of U.S. soccer right now, and because the schedule is the way that it's set up, I think the MLS Cup is more important. And I honestly think if you were to ask Landon Donovan how he'd rather go out with the Supporters' Shield or the MLS Cup, hands down he's going to say, I want the MLS Cup to be the way that I go out. Now, my argument for this is because if you look at the schedule the way MLS is now, with the Eastern Conference, they play each team in their conference 3 times except for 2 teams which they're going to face twice, and then they go across to the Western Conference once. For the Western Conference, they play each team in their conference 3 times and then go over to the Eastern Conference once. The Supporters' Shield under that format doesn't necessarily decide the best team in the league, which DeAndre Yedlin said it did. After 34 games, he said, that's the best team. Whoever has the most points after 34 games is the best team in MLS. That's not necessarily true. I think in this case it was. I think Seattle was the best team. But say DC United in the East were to be the team with the most points at the end of the season, no one was going to say that DC United was better than the LA Galaxy or Seattle.
Agreed, but I also think the DeAndre. I'm agreeing with you. I think the MLS Cup is more of the trophy that teams are more looking forward to winning than the Supporters' Shield. MLS Cup means more, but DeAndre Yedlin is looking at the English Premier League, where the top team in the league is the one that has the most points at the end of the season. They essentially are the ones that win the Supporters' Shield of that league. So like some people consider that to be more important than winning a playoffs, but playoffs are the American way. People love to see a Cinderella team come up from those wild card teams or lower seeded teams and come and win the playoffs. They want to see those teams win the championships, not one team just tear everything up through the playoffs.
So like Mason was saying, you do think that the MLS Cup is the right way. You agree with that. But you think that the Supporters' Shield shows the best team in MLS.
I think the Supporters' Shield should show the best team in MLS, and that's why I would like a kind of schedule change. With Orlando SC and New York City FC coming in next year and having a 20-team league, which is the same amount that the Premier League has, the Liga, the Bundesliga, I think that it would be a good idea for the MLS to maybe try, I don't know how it'll work, but we need to try it, maybe go to a home and home, eliminate the divisions, eliminate the conferences, and go to a home and home 38-game season. And at the end, since everyone has the same strength of schedule, there's no argument as to who the best team is after that 38-game season.
So at that point, you'd be for wiping the entire playoff system and just basically going off of the regular season.
I think because a lot of people in the U.S. have a lot of doubts as to why the U.S. system has not turned out the same way that the European system does, I think it would be a good idea to have a gradual change, maybe have the seasons be linked so that the U.S. plays the same style that the European does.
I completely disagree with that. I mean, this is American soccer. Soccer is what happens on the field with kicking the ball in between 2 posts. It's not about how the points add up, how the teams fall in the ranking system. It's about playing on the field. And if this is it's gonna fall into the American style of the playoff system, this is how it's got to be. You were saying that you wanted to eliminate the conferences. The conferences are built around these regional rivalries that have helped MLS grow, such as the Cascadia Cup and the rise of the up-and-coming I-95 Cup. And I think this is what's going to continue to have MLS grow, and I think they need to stick with it.
But see, here's what I say. You look at all the other sports that are popular in America, football, basketball, baseball, all the other nations have had to adapt to the American system because that's what's popular here. Soccer originated outside of America. And it's so popular outside of America. You look Europe and all the other continents. Why can't the American soccer game adapt to the European soccer game just like American baseball, basketball, football have had to adapt in those countries?
That's the American culture. The Americans are America is all about standing up for your individuality, not adapting to what another country wants you to do. It's embedded into the American psyche. We're not going to change from, people don't want to give in to another country's mentality in this way.
Yeah, but it's embedded in the American psyche. But America's falling behind in soccer. America needs some kind of change because you look at the World Cup. We said that we were going to do better after these last 4 years since South Africa. The fan base has grown. It's become more popular. But you look at what happened in the World Cup. We didn't advance any farther than we did 4 years ago.
We also played much harder teams this year.
We did play much harder teams, but I don't think it's fair to say that U.S. has fallen behind. I mean, the MLS has done nothing but grow. Our team this year was better than our team in South Africa, and hey, we couldn't beat Belgium, but Belgium was slated as one of the dark horses to win the entire World Cup.
Now they're top 5 in the team.
Yeah,
in the
top
world.
5 in the top 5. But then again, talking about the American way, I feel like the regular season right now is really catered to the areas of the United States where we have to fly 3+ hours for New York to go play in LA, or you have to see the Galaxy fly 3+ hours to go play in DC. And I feel like limiting conferences just won't, I don't see that helping because, you know, these teams have to go so far to travel, whereas in England, somewhere like that, you're taking a train 3 hours. You're flying on a plane an hour. So, you know.
Yeah, I really think that with the addition of NYCFC and Orlando City this coming year, that'll really help those regional rivalries I was talking about earlier. That we'll continue to see Major League Soccer grow.
But I don't necessarily think that a change in scheduling will like make the rivalries any less powerful. I mean, we look back to Europe. Just because they play home and homes doesn't make the rivalries any less powerful. You look Manchester City, Manchester United, you look Arsenal, Chelsea, you look at all these teams, they only play 2 games against each other all season. It's not like the other sports like the NBA where you're going to play a division opponent 5-6 times and that's how the rivalry is created. The rivalry, when you only play these teams 2 times, it makes the rivalry games that much more powerful because you know you're only going to get that 1 or 2 shots a season to really maximize
in Major League Soccer, it's 3 times a season, but the fact that it's in conference, you have those 6-point games where you can just jump a team even if you're a couple points behind them in the standings, just be based on that one game.
We're going to have to move on. Starting with the Sounders, we're not going to end with the Sounders, guys. The Sounders have won the U.S. Open Cup, and they've won the Supporters' Shield. Can they go for the treble and win all 3 domestic competitions?
Of course not. There's only been 3 teams in the last 11 years that have won the Supporters' Shield and then went on to win the MLS Cup. And it's just the Sounders have spent so much time in all these tournaments just trying to perform the bench. I don't think they can do it. I think the LA Galaxy will beat them in this playoffs, and Landon Donovan will get his send-off.
I also don't think the Sounders can do it. They give up too many goals when they're on the road. I don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Galaxy in a 2-game aggregate series. LA's just looked too good. I think they got their Supporters' Shield, they got their trophy, but they're not going to get the one that matters.
All right, guys. Well, that is all the time we have for this edition of One-on-One Sports Webcast. If you missed anything from today's show or just want to watch it again, check out our YouTube page at youtube.com/oneononesports. Also, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at One-on-One Sports. For all our producers and crew, have a happy Halloween. Until next time, whose side are you on?